Good morning, Dr. Bichsel.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here.
Obviously, Shell is one of the largest and oldest investors in Kazakhstan. From this perspective, how do you assess cooperation between your company and our country?
Well, indeed, we have been in the country for nearly 20 years, and we started with a small representation office, and we have now grown in exploration ventures and now developing ventures as well. So I'm very pleased with that, what we have found here in this country. The way we work and what we have been doing for more than 100 years as a company is to find a strong working relationship together with the government, the national oil companies and the private sector to really build a long-lasting relationship that serves us all and creates value for everybody. And I'm very pleased with the cooperation that we're finding here in Kazakhstan.
Let's talk about the oil prices. Obviously, oil prices are very volatile at the moment. How do you assess as an oil expert? What is your assessment of the future direction of the oil price?
Well, I tell you, if I knew what the oil price is going to do, I would probably be a very rich man. The interesting thing about the oil price is nobody is actually making the oil price but the market. So when we look at the volatility, it is clearly caused by what the market is doing in terms of we had a recession, we're coming out of the recession, we still have Western Europe struggling with the economic recovery, we have strong growth, of course, in the East, we have the instability in the Middle East and North Africa. They all play a role and they create a volatility. However, what we do know is that in the long term, say over the next 40-50 years, the energy demand will grow. And when we look at the total mix of that energy demand, oil and gas will still play a very important role. So I think in terms of the oil price development, we see the oil price to continue to be quite strong.
Dr. Bichsel, another big concern, of course, in the oil sector today is safety issues. In this context, how does Shell implement international best practices for health and safety in Kazakhstan?
So we're very pleased to indeed be working in, for instance, in Kazakhstan as partner in the consortium. And what our role is to make sure indeed that we have a safe and environmentally sound operation. We have developed globally a lot of standards, a lot of practices, and we want to bring these global standards here in Kazakhstan to ensure that these good oilfield practices are replicated as well.
I see. And my last question to you would be, how does Shell contribute to local community and social development?
That's a very important point indeed. It's an excellent question. So again, I'm very pleased. There's a number of areas that we're working. I'll give you one example, our Pearls project that we are currently developing. We have a joint venture between Kazakhstan, Oman Oil and Shell. We have over 80% of our staff are actually from Kazakhstan, so they're nationals from Kazakhstan operating. So this is for me is one contribution, so really building the local workforce, training them in the technical areas, not just administrative, but really technical, deep technical expertise. I'm very pleased with the progress of the Pearls project because we're working on a concept in terms of the development that allows to really use the local capabilities. And we will also work here in country to build more fabrication yards that we can use to indeed do further developments.
Well, thank you for your time, sir. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.